KICI-LP 105.3 FM is Iowa City's nonprofit local radio station. We rely on listener support, and you can help us continue to air great programming like Democracy Now!, Great Taste, Green Room IC, The Situation Room, and This Way Out by making a one-time donation or setting up a recurring donation at our website, KICIRadio.org. Just click on the donate button and become part of the team. KICI-LP. Low power, high impact.
On this Green Room IC episode, KICI welcomes people from the Willow Creek Theater Company. Beverly Mead talks to Bridget Martin and Luke Brooks about their original music production, Just a Matter of Time. The interview was recorded using Zoom video conferencing on March 14th, 2023.
I found that a lot of different companies, they like to pick one thing and stick with that one thing, and they're just not really interested in working outside of that, which works for a lot of companies, but I think we attract a very kind of multifaceted type of artist who's interested in a lot of different types of things. And I think what we found with that approach is that those different types of arts really help influence and support each other.
We also have a Comedy for a Cause program that we're sort of starting to develop a little bit more. It started with Girlies for Emma Goldman, which raised money for the Emma Goldman Clinic in Iowa City.
Hello, listeners. Welcome back to another episode of the Green Room IC. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Bridget Martin and Luke Brooks, representing Willow Creek Theater Company's upcoming production of Just a Matter of Time. Welcome. It's great to have both of you here.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to be here. We're very excited.
Oh,
yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah. Well, our audience members always like to know who's behind the mic. So could you each please tell our listeners a little bit about yourselves, such as, your background in theater, where you come from originally, how long you've been involved with Willow Creek specifically? I mean, who are you people? As Richard Dreyfuss said in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Richard, let's start with you.
Absolutely. Great question. So I'm Bridget Martin. I'm originally from Rapid City, South Dakota, but I moved to Iowa City to study creative writing in 2016. And since then, I've done quite a bit of theater in the area. I think this is my 7th play that's been produced in the Iowa City area.
Very good.
Yeah, so I'm the head writer of Just a Matter of Time, and I previously worked with Willow Creek on the Kornilov Affair last year, and I also help out with the company as their executive director.
Excellent, excellent. So Luke, your turn.
Yeah, I consider myself an Iowa City native. I wasn't born here, but I did move here when I was 3 and grew up in the Iowa City area. So I consider it my home base in pretty much every way. Yeah, I started doing theater at West High and went to Cornell College up in Mount Vernon to get my BA in theater. And from there, kind of bounced around to a few locations in South Carolina and Chicago, and built up my professional experience and resume a little bit. But when I was looking at getting married and finding a place to set up as home base with my wife and start our family, we just loved Iowa City, and I wanted to be back here. And so we came back and founded Willow Creek Theater Company, where I serve as artistic director. Like Bridget mentioned, we've been doing devised theater for about a year now, when we started with Kornilov Affair last year. And then, I don't know if he's picking up on the mic at all. But we started Devised Theater last year with the Cornelia Affair, and this is our second production, but it's our first fully devised musical, which we're very excited about.
Great, great. Well, Bridget, you indicated in your email to us that this production is Willow Creek's first, quote, fully original musical, unquote. Has this been something Willow Creek has wanted to do for a while now, or was it a last-minute decision to do it at this time?
Yeah. So after the Courtney Love Affair last year, we had 2 songs in that show, and we had talked about it, and we had been like, oh, we could have made this a full musical if that had been our goal from the beginning. So this show, we decided that that was a route that we wanted to pursue, and so we were like, all right, first original musical, that's going to be our goal from the beginning, and it worked out remarkably well, I think.
That's great. Well, I have to ask, that's my job, but I have to ask, how do you put together the people that are going to write, produce, and perform in this show? Was it by invitation only, or did you put out a call for each role in creating the musical?
Yeah, so we put out kind of a application / audition call where we really laid out all the different types of things, because we really needed collaborators who were multi-skilled in theater. And so we had it so that you could submit audition tapes, and you could also submit design portfolios. You could just submit pretty much whatever you wanted and whatever you were interested in doing for the production. And from there, we were able to select people that we thought had a nice variety of skills that we thought would work well together. And they really ended up working very well together.
Excellent, excellent. Luke, you're the director of this show, Just a Matter of Time.
Mm-hmm.
Could you please give us a brief overview of the storyline?
Yeah. So essentially, we have our main character, Shannon, who is filled with regrets over her time in high school, thinking very nostalgically about it, wishing that she had made a bunch of changes. When the personification of time, actually played by Bridget, shows up and offers her a deal that she can relive all 4 years of high school and make up to 3 changes. And she uses those changes to try and get the life that she always wanted. And then, there's consequences, wrinkles, a whole bunch of different ways that it shakes out that I don't want to spoil too much of, but we're very excited about where the story goes.
Very good. Luke, you said that you are the theater's artistic director.
Mm-hmm.
Were you then automatically designated to be the director of this production, or did you read the script and say, hey, I'd really like to direct this, and the board just said, okay, yeah, that's fine?
Well, I kind of end up the director of the devising shows by default. It was something that I studied pretty heavily in college. And it's something that kind of requires specific skills as a director, because when we all showed up in a room, we didn't even have a concept that we wanted to make the show for. We had to talk about what type of stories we wanted to tell, what types of genres we were interested in. And so taking an ensemble from start to finish without a script to come in and read on the first rehearsal, it requires some specific knowledge. And so I've kind of been spearheading those efforts, but as we're building up a company of people that are learning how to create theater in this super awesome way, we're definitely looking at having other people take point on these types of shows in the future.
Oh, very good. How many are in the cast?
There are 6 actors, and then we have our pianist accompanist, Andrew, who I consider to be a performer because that's what he's doing in the show. So
yeah. Okay.
not a huge ensemble. But.
Well, hey, it's big enough. That's just fine. Who is your music director and how many are in the orchestra? And I use that term loosely.
That's also all Andrew. He did the music direction for the show, and he's very, very good at it, as well as provides all of the backing accompaniment for the songs. We played around with doing some more instrumentations a little bit, but overall, the best product wouldn't have been possible with all of those additional sounds, so we just sort of left it to him.
Sure, sure.
Although Bridget does come in with the ukulele.
Oh, that's true.
Yes, what? I'm sorry.
Bridget does play the ukulele for one song.
Well, that would be fun to listen to. I love the uke. It's fully original.
Mm-hmm.
But does that include the music too, or was the music added to the script from songs that were already written?
No, the music is also fully original. I wrote most of the music, and then Andrew added the accompaniments and the instrumentations to the back of it. So that's 19 original songs that are in this show, which is super exciting and kind of crazy, actually.
Bridget, you wear a lot of hats, don't you?
I sure do.
Did you ever get confused as to which hat you're supposed to be wearing? Now I've got a bunch of them. I can loan them to you on occasion.
Oh, that would be great for keeping track, because I definitely do get confused sometimes as to what I'm supposed to be focusing on.
Yeah. Okay, so to back up just a little bit, let's talk about how this process developed. You now have a script. You now have a basic storyline. You know what you're going to be doing. Who designed your set?
That was me.
Okay.
I ended up taking point on most of the design of the show.
Okay. Who were your costumer and choreographer?
Bridget ended up with a decent amount of the choreacally.
Another hat?
Yep.
Yeah, just switch that hat on and off. But actually, the cast did most of the costuming and makeup work, which was a really awesome way that they were able to find more detail in their character. I really loved how they have a lot of different looks throughout the show, and it was fun how just every day of tech suddenly the character was more fleshed out through their different costuming choices and hair choices and makeup choices.
Right.
And as a director, I was expecting to have to tell them a little bit more of what I wanted to see on stage, but really with every single piece they brought, it was just dead on. And so I was really impressed with the entire cast's costume design skills.
Excellent, excellent. I know you opened this past Friday, March 10th, and because of problems that I was having with my computer, we weren't able to get this interview done last week. However, what are the run dates, including curtain times, for each of the remaining performances?
So we are actually having a special event performance this Thursday, which is a pay what you can show. We really wanted everyone who wanted to be able to come to this show to see it, so we decided to make a special show for people to donate to pay what they could if they couldn't afford the full price of a ticket. So that will be this Thursday, March 16th at 7:30. And then our other 2 evening performances are Friday and Saturday, March 17th and 18th at 7:30. And then we have a Sunday matinee, March 19th at 2:30 p.m.
Okay, very good. Do they have to make arrangements to attend the special performance on Thursday, or can they just show up?
That one's strictly cash only, just show up, pay at the door performance.
Okay.
We figured it would be too complicated with our ticketing software to try and do any of that online. So
No, that's fine. I understand that completely. Where is the show being produced?
It's at our home theater, Willow Creek Theater Company, which is at 327 South Gilbert Street in Iowa City.
Okay. All right. Now, for someone not familiar with WCTC, could you give some landmarks as to where it's located?
Yeah, it's in between City Liquor and Casa Azul on Gilbert Street. If you know where the Come and Go on Burlington is, it's just down from there, and the Robert A. Lee Recreation Center is a little bit further up, which is where we usually recommend that people park if they want to get
Very good.
sure
Very
parking.
good. Because there are many people out there who are like me, could you please let us know, of course, is it handicap accessible?
Yes, our theater is entirely handicap accessible, which is something that we feel is very, very important for theater productions in general. So yeah, anyone can come in and we'll be able to help you out.
Very good. Now, while the damdemic, yes, I said that intentionally, and its complications have eased up somewhat, what have you been doing to ensure the safety of your cast and crew?
We've been taking COVID precautions throughout the duration of the runs. We've been really, really open about communicating our, health and wellness. If everyone was able to, stay home and communicate if they weren't feeling well, because that was something that we took very seriously. We masked if necessary, and we encourage patrons of the theater to wear masks in the space. We don't require it anymore, but we do strongly encourage that.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. So they're not required, but they are encouraged.
Yes.
Very good. All right. How would you rate this show, if you need to, with regard to how appropriate it would be for younger viewers, say 13 and under? Luke, you want to attack that one, as it were?
Yeah, I would say probably the strongest content involves language. Some F-bombs are dropped throughout. There's references to intimacy and stuff like that. But for the most part, I would say that if it were a movie, it'd probably be rated around PG-13. But we have had parents bring younger kids to the show already who were, more okay with stuff like strong language, and they seem to really enjoy it. So it just depends on a parent's comfort level around the usual cuss words that you might hear on a show.
Very good. Many people need to coordinate their schedules with regard to babysitters, dinner. Are they going to go before or after the show? Arranging transportation to and from the theater, etc. To help them in this regard, about how long does the show run?
Our performances, I think, have generally been starting at 7:30 and going until about 10. So it is about a 2.5 hour show with a 15-minute intermission.
With a how long intermission?
15 minutes, I think.
15 minutes. Okay, very good. How would someone go about purchasing tickets for the show?
Yeah, of course, people can always just purchase tickets at the door. We definitely recommend purchasing them beforehand online if you want to make sure that you have a ticket when you get there. That link can be found on our Facebook or you can search us on Eventbrite. Our ticketing is run through Eventbrite. So if anyone uses that ticketing service to find events on a regular basis, just search Willow Creek Theater Company, and most of our website links will get you there if you just search Willow Creek Theater Company on Google.
Very good. Well, again, that's Just a Matter of Time, produced by Willow Creek Theater Company, is being performed at the Willow Creek Theater, 327 South Gilbert Street in Iowa City on Friday and Saturday, March 17th and 18th, with the curtain rising at 7:30 p.m., and on Sunday, March 19th at 2:00 p.m. In addition, they have a special performance being done on Thursday, March 16th, also at 7:30 p.m., which is for those of us who are unable to afford the regular price tickets. It's a pay what you can. And I always appreciate that, because there are a lot of people who would go to more shows if there were a special performance available like that. So I applaud you for that. Well, this has been great to be able to talk specifically about Just a Matter of Time, but are there other projects going on that the theater is involved in and hands-on work that you could talk to us about?
Yeah, we have an incredible amount of different things going on basically all the time at the theater. It's kind of an insane amount, but kind of our philosophy as a company comes back to a lot of frustrations I had working with different companies, and especially someone who really likes, improv and music and theater and musicals. And I found that a lot of different companies, they like to pick one thing and stick with that one thing, and they're just not really interested in working outside of that, which works for a lot of companies. But I think we attract a very kind of multifaceted type of artist who's interested in a lot of different types of things. And I think what we found with that approach is that those different types of arts really help influence and support each other. So we're a very wide umbrella of the types of activities that we do. A major part of our programming comes back to improv and offering a lot of opportunities to learn improv. We have a conservatory program that has essentially weekly classes that people can jump in on. We'll be putting information out pretty soon about signing up for our summer season of that. We also have our improv team, Lady Franklin, that performs essentially weekly, usually at our space, but when we have like a main stage, we kind of bounce around to a lot of the other awesome venues that are in the area. I think this next week we have another show at the Artifactory with Lady Franklin. So if anyone has already seen Just a Matter of Time, or is coming on Saturday and is looking for something else to do, or are coming on Sunday, if they're looking for something else to do on Saturday, you can come out and check that out. But all the time we're having different types of events. We just had an intimacy coordination workshop with the intimacy coordinator for Just a Matter of Time, Owen Brightman, who's an incredible friend of the company and us individually, absolute great person. And we're going to be working very closely with Floodwater Comedy Festival that's coming up in April, and being the primary improv venue for that. And just kind of anything that any of the artists that we work with can dream up, we're looking to support, looking at bringing in more cabaret style performances, bringing in more bands, individual musicians to come in and showcase their work. We have regular stand-up performances and a few that you can buy tickets for right now on our Eventbrite. So we're always looking for new and interesting performing artists to come in and just showcase their work. We have a space, and every night that it goes unperformed in is a night we consider wasted. So we're trying to make as much use of it for the community as we possibly can.
Yeah, we also have a Comedy for a Cause program that we're sort of starting to develop a little bit more. It started with Girlies for Emma Goldman, which raised money for the Emma Goldman Clinic in Iowa City, and we've now expanded it to include the U Iowa Food Pantry. So we're having a charity comedy event for that organization on March 24th. We split proceeds evenly and donate them to those organizations, as well as any donations that are given. And that's always a really, really fun event that a lot of people like to show up for. So we've raised over $600 for charities so far through that program, and we're really excited to keep going with it. So if anyone wants to put together a stand-up comedy event to benefit an organization that they care about, we're always ready to hear about that.
That's excellent. Well, it's time to close the curtain on this interview. Thank you both again for being here today. It's been a lot of fun and very informative, and I've really enjoyed our time together. I hope we can do another interview with you again soon.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll do this again in the future, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, we'll be back.
The Green Room IC is an original production of KICI Radio in Iowa City. The host for this episode is Beverly Mead, with production by Craig Jarvie. Visit KICI's SoundCloud page to hear this and other Green Room IC interviews. Music used in this Green Room IC episode is from Just a Matter of Time, a new musical from the Willow Creek Theater Company. Music composed by Bridget Martin and Andrew Altmeyer.